Good morning, reading group. I told you I might be sending you an additional video. Well, here it is. I wanted to do a read aloud with you. It's just one of our short ones like we do in class sometimes, and I just wanted you to think about some of these things as we're reading. I might bring up some of those questions for you to think about too. And then I'm going to follow it up with a video that makes it a little more real for you, I think. The title of our short story is The Unbroken Code of the Navajo Code Talkers by Catherine Ripley. World War II began September 1939 when Germany, under the control of Adolf Hitler, invaded Poland. The United States entered the war on December 7, 1941, when Japan bombed the U.S. Navy in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. At this point, Japan had formed an alliance with Germany. It's August 7, 1942, in the middle of World War II, and a huge battle is unfolding at Guadalcanal Island in the Pacific Ocean. Hidden in the steamy jungle, two Japanese soldiers watch American Marines roll out wire from one battle patrol to the next. In the distance, gunfire rattles and bombs blast. When the Americans are gone, the soldiers creep out to tap into the newly laid communication line. Both understand English well and hope to eavesdrop on what Americans are planning. The first Japanese soldier listens, and a look of surprise comes across his face. He hears a sing-song mumbling and some throaty gurgles and clicks. The second soldier also listens and recognizes that it isn't English. It's like nothing he's ever heard before. What do you hear? Two Navajo code talkers on their field telephones. The code talkers enabled Americans to communicate secretly and speedily in the heat of battle, were critical in winning the war in the Pacific. Their code was never broken by the Japanese. The idea of using Navajo code talkers was suggested by the son of a missionary, Philip Johnston, who'd grown up on the Navajo reservation. Johnston knew that Navajo was an unusual language that few people outside the tribe could understand, and he also knew how important it was for the Marines to be able to communicate quickly without using cumbersome decoding machines and code books that would fall into the enemy hands. During World War I, Choctaw Indians had sent messages for the U.S. Army, but Johnston knew that German students had studied and learned many Indian languages since then, including Choctaw. The Germans, now allies with Japan, had not studied Navajo. Navajo is very different from English and very difficult to learn. For example, there are 37 different ways to pronounce the word for wind in Navajo. Just by using this one word and pitching your voice in slightly different ways, you can say that the wind is making you cold or warming you or blowing away from you, but the difficulty of understanding Navajo made it perfect for keeping messages secret during war. And when Johnston took his idea to the Marines, they thought, yes, this could work. The code. The plan succeeded not only because no Japanese understood Navajo, but also because the Navajo talked in a special code. In Navajo, there is no word for dive bomber or for other military terms, so the code talkers gave bird names to airplanes and fish names to ships. For example, dive bombers became chicken hawks, guinea. Fighter planes were hummingbirds, dahitihi, and a battleship was a whale, latso. The code talkers called hand grenades potatoes, nimasi, and bombs were eggs, aishi. The code was so secret and safe that other Navajo couldn't understand it unless they were specially trained. Once the Japanese hoped to crack the code by capturing a Navajo soldier, but because he was not a code talker, he could not translate the messages for them. After the war, the work of the Navajo code talkers was kept secret in case the U.S. needed to call on them. and they're on Broken Code again. Today, the bravery of the code talkers is well known, but the Navajo culture does not glorify war. When Navajo code talkers returned home from war and were asked why they had done it, what they had done, many simply said, "I was a radio man." And with that, kiddos, I want to show you the video that I have here for you to look at. And this is just another way of showing you how communication can be very different, and how there are so many different ways for us to communicate. Okay, so here is the video I wanted to show you.
Over 200 Navajo code talkers participated on the landing of Iwo Jima. 5th Marine Division were on the north side of the island. A company of Marines were pinned down real badly. They were being fired upon from 3 different directions. Mortar shells were being dropped down. They were hunkering desperately in their foxhole. Company commander wrote down a message asking for help, handed to a Navajo code talker. This is what the Navajo code talker said. This is the actual message that was sent on Iwo. De be ana hachin bi dat is tahi de na sonse taji chochin sita sa ta asta na kit shash. What does that mean? This is what he said in Navajo. Sheep, eyes, nose, deer, destroyer, tea, mouse, turkey, onion, sick horse, 3, 6, 2, bear. As each Navajo word came through the air, the code talker down at the beach command post, he writes it down in English. What did he write down? Send demolition team to hill 362B. There were 3 hills on the north side, 362A, 362B, and 362C. Beneath 362B was the problem. This message took 20 seconds. After 20 seconds, Beach Command Post organized a rescue team to save that company of Marines. If that message was sent in English code, it would have taken 30 minutes. 20 seconds in Navajo, 30 minutes in English code. Those guys pinned down on north side didn't have 30 minutes. Without Navajo, Marines would never have taken the island of Iwo Jima. That's how critical Navajo code was to the war in the Pacific. And we should never forget what war is. War is something that nobody wants. It's bad, it's ugly. But so long as we are together, no matter what nationality you are, if you are American and love this country, we all have to stick together to keep this nation strong. Our freedom and liberty means so much, meant so much for those who never made it home. So it's up to us now to keep this nation strong and prosperous.
Okay, with that, kiddos, I think this will probably be your last reading video for the week. I hope you guys are having a great week. Let me know if you have any questions or having any trouble with anything. I'm here for you.